Hey guys, how's it going? I'm using YouTube's recording software right now because unfortunately a couple of weeks ago my camera decided to crap out on me, and so I'm kind of stuck with this for now. I'd make videos more often using YouTube's recording software, but unfortunately every time I seem to make a video it seems to have technical difficulties halfway through where I'll get an error and it would lose connection. And in fact, this is probably my seventh or eighth time making this video because it's already happened that many times, and it's very frustrating. And at this point, I feel like strangling my computer. This is my last time I'm trying this. Anyway, you might notice that my background is a little bit different. I'm living in a new place right now. I'm living with a couple of new roommates. They're actually a couple of really good friends of mine. So the next year is going to be great. I'm going to have a great time. I'm pretty excited. I'm also going through, I'm trying to figure out the next phase of my career. I'm looking into doing either life coaching or helping people with their problems more one-on-one or in small groups. I really like the idea of being able to help people through their problems and making an impact in other people's lives. I feel like this will be very fulfilling and something I'd be very good at. I find it's something I already do a lot with my friends. A lot of times, when people are having problems or friends in my group are having problems, I'll be the one that will sit down and listen and try to understand what they're going through and help them facilitate through their emotions. Where I find a lot of people, when people are telling them their problems, they feel uncomfortable, and either one, they'll start comparing their problems to their and have this like almost like competition to see who has the bigger problem, or two, they'll try to give them advice instead of fully listening and trying to understand the other person's problem and just giving them advice and not really being present with the other person. Or three, trying to make them feel better by just saying, oh, don't be sad, feel good, or feel better. But I don't find this is the right way to go because that almost disqualifies a perfectly legitimate emotion that someone might be going through. If someone feels sad or depressed for a legitimate reason, like they just broke up with someone, I don't think a good approach would be to be like, feel better, and make them almost like feel bad. That will make them feel worse about the emotions that they're having, and emotions like this should be processed and not suppressed, like especially emotions that are completely legitimate. I find when I'm helping someone through their problem, they'll try to feel guilty about their own emotions and say, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should be feeling good. I should be feeling happy. I shouldn't feel bad. And I say, no, you are completely legitimate with the feelings that you're going through right now. You should be feeling those. And when I'm talking to someone, I try to validate the feelings that they're going through and be like, yeah, I understand exactly why you're feeling this way. Maybe I don't say I understand as in I know what it's like, but I understand why you would be feeling those emotions. And as soon as they say, I shouldn't be feeling like this, I say, no, you're perfectly in the right to feel the way that you feel. Anyway, I I feel like I'd be really good at it. My mom even suggested the other day looking into child psychology, and that also really resonated with me. I like working with kids. I was a kindergarten support worker in the past, and I really like the idea of helping people through their problems. I feel like I get a lot of meaning out of it find it very fulfilling, and I just like the idea of impacting another person's life and making the world just a little bit of a better place. So I think I'd like to do it more one-on-one or small groups. I really like working directly with people rather than maybe like standing on a stage in front of a large group of people, which is what other life coaches do. They take their knowledge, bring it to a stage, and they present ideas to a large group of people. Like people like Anthony Robbins, although he does one-on-one, he performs in front of, not performs, but he, I guess, teaches and helps people in front of huge groups. I feel like I'd be more one-on-one, intimate with other people. Not sexually intimate, obviously. Why would you even think that? Obviously, that's not what I was talking about. This is going off track really quick. Anyway, even though that's not where I'm going through, I still am trying to work on my public speaking. As a lot of you might know, that I started going to Toastmasters, which is a organization that where a group of people gets together and helps each other with their public speaking. So, an example of a meeting that I went to, I walked into a room, and in the room is like a set of tables that kind of go around the room and kind of like a horseshoe, like wrap around the room. And on the other end, there's a podium, and the meetings are about an hour long. Everyone has different roles that they kind of cycle through each meeting. There's a Toastmaster, kind of like the person that introduces everyone, talks about what's going on in that meeting. There is two or three speakers that have to perform a speech. There is an counter, so what they do is every speech they count the ums, the uhs, the likes, words like that, those filler words that people need to be aware of, because like it's really like annoying when like you say like every two like sentences, and like it's just annoying and like hard to follow, you know what I mean. And then there's timers. Every speech should be, like, if it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, the timer will flip a green light when it's 5, yellow when it's 6, and 7 when it's red, so the speaker could keep on track and make sure they're not going over time. And then each speaker has an evaluator, so after all the speeches are done, then they'll tell them their good points and things they think they might be able to work on and their strengths, and so they're able to be more aware of where they're at and know where to work and know what they're good at, their strengths and weaknesses. And it's really interesting. Last time I went, last time I went, everyone was really supportive of each other. A lot of the speeches that happened were motivational. The way it works is when you first start off with a booklet of 10 different types of speeches. The first one is an introductory icebreaker speech where you just basically talk about yourself. There's like a persuasive speech where you have to persuade the group into a different way of thinking. There's a research type of speech where you have to do research and then present ideas. So there's various different types of speeches that you have to go through. And after about 10 speeches, I believe you get like a little award, like the Competent Speaker Award or something like that. So you actually get credentials for doing this. And people are very supportive of each other. They really help each other out, and very supportive of people, because people have to go in front of a group of people. Public speaking is one of the biggest fears there is. So it's really commendable to be able to, do something like that. And something that really stuck with me the last meeting was, at the end, well, at the start, there's a bug. Everyone at the start kind of introduces themselves and talks about themselves. So I did a little couple minutes and introduced myself to the group. And one of the women there was like a guest. It was her first time. She was just someone must have brought her, and she was just trying it out and seeing what was going on. And she kind of was leaned back. She seemed kind of like she didn't want to be there. And as soon as it got to her, she said, "I'll pass," and just went on like that. Fair enough. But she did seem kind of like to put out a little bit of an attitude. Now at the end, everyone went around the room again and had to say comments about the meeting or say what they wanted to say. I said, "Oh, like I find this really inspiring. I can't wait to come back." I said stuff like that. I really enjoyed the speeches. I found this inspirational. I don't know. I said something like that. When it came to her, she said, she kind of like leaned back and again had like almost like to me, my first gut response was like, oh, this lady has some sort of attitude problem. And she said, I don't know. There's just like too much clapping. I don't really. And my like gut level response was like, whoa, like she has a completely different attitude than everyone else. Everyone in the room was super upbeat, but she was like, too much clapping. What is this? And it was really interesting because instead of the group of people in Toastmasters saying, kind of like disregarding her, like I feel like a gut level response like, oh wow, she has an attitude problem, I don't want to associate with her. That was my almost gut level response. But everyone was really accepting of her answer and was really respectful. And there was a few people that stepped up that gave their point of view of why we clap so much in the meetings. They talked about how it helps recognize, like people recognize people facing their fears and stuff like that. Her point was it just seemed too insincere to clap after every single thing. And there was even one person that kind of explained, that kind of said, well, you know, when you bring something up like this, we could even take a look, and every different Toastmasters group has their own culture. We could even talk about making changes to something like that. Because I understand your point. And I was really touched by the room's attitude by this, because instead of just arguing with her, they really did consider her thought, her point of view, and really showed a lot of respect to her. And you could see this really made an impact on her. Like I saw her face, and you could tell she wasn't used to this. I mean, someone who kind of has that attitude usually pushes people away. But just the fact that even after she said that, everyone was so accepting and treated her with respect, you could tell it really made an impact on her. And I found that super inspiring, and I can't wait to go back and, you know, learn more and be part of a group that is like that. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Oh, the video actually went through the entire time this time. Alright. Peace.